Hey y'all, what is going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole, and we're a little late, but we're going to do our pro expert guide walkthrough here for the upcoming tournament, which starts tomorrow, Monday, and this is for the Fall Major. Sorry, I'm so late getting this out. I've had it ready to do since last evening. Had some things come up last night, and then today has just been a crazy day. Church and family stuff, did our family pictures, so this is pretty much the first chance I've actually had to sit down and actually like fully do this. So we're going to do this for you. We're going to talk about holes 1 through 9 of the new Eagle Peak course, and going to talk about the different ways to play each of these holes. What clubs will be a good choice, and maybe what ball choices may give you the best chances to put yourself in position to make some eagles, maybe an albatross here, maybe an albatross there, but most importantly, play a solid and consistent round of golf to put you in the best position to first qualify, and then hopefully to maybe win some medals in the weekend round. So we're going to start here with this first hole. We got hole number 1, and hole number 1 is a par 4. And keep in mind, this is for the pro and the expert. We did a rookie one the other day. So if you're in the rookie, go to my YouTube channel and you can find the rookie guide there. So here we go for pro and expert. There's basically 2 ways to play this hole. The first shot here, we're going to be playing with a plus 20% adjustment for the wind downhill. So we're going to be adding a plus 20% no matter what, if we go left or if we go right. So keep that in mind, plus 20% for this shot. I really like either the Kingmaker or the Titan. Most likely I will be using the Kingmaker here for this hole on this shot. And as far as the club selection goes, you want to bring a driver with accuracy. So I kind of like the Thor if you're going to the left, or if you have a upper level APOC like APOC 5 Plus, that'll be a good one to go to the right with if you just want to boom it down the fairway. But that kind of depends on what kind of wind we get. So first, let's talk about the shot going to the left. If you're going to play the shot to the left, you want to make sure to bring a ball with side spin and some top spin, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be shooting your shot through these trees, hitting the rough right there and then rolling out, hopefully somewhere into this zone right here. That's going to be your shot there. Make sure to adjust for your 20% there. If you're going to play your shot to the right side, we're really going to need a decent wind at our back for this next shot, and then you may want to pair that shot up with a really good power ball to get yourself far down the fairway. So basically what you want to do is you want to land somewhere in this zone right here. You're going to bounce there, roll up the fairway, hopefully to somewhere in that zone. So that's kind of what your shot's going to look like. Your first bounce there, second bounce there, and then roll up. The reason we want to roll that far up is because we want to have a shot to the top side of that line to give ourselves a clear shot at the green. If it lands somewhere back in this zone right here, we do have to contend with these trees. So we either have to kind of find a gap, to the left or to the right of that tree, or we'll have to, curl our shot around the tree, into the green that way. And that will be an option there if you do find yourself behind those trees. Going to the left-hand side, though, you have to get far enough to the left on that fairway as well, because you will have to deal with this tree right here, if you end up somewhere in this zone right here. So it's definitely a hole where you got to make sure you put your drive in the correct place to have yourself an open shot at the green. So from the left-hand side, the second shot would be a plus 10% adjustment on that shot as well, somewhat downhill for that shot as well. And that shot will be going this way. You'll bounce it off this little fairway section right here, get to bounce there, and hopefully roll it to the green. I would be playing that shot right there with about 1 bar of topspin. If we have a crosswind or a tailwind, if we have a headwind, you put a little bit more topspin on that shot, maybe 1.5 bars of topspin. And definitely, if you do get stuck behind that tree to the right side of that circle, for the second shot, you can aim your shot a little bit farther to the the left side of this fairway section, and just use the right spin on your ball, and then use a little bit of right curl as well to kind of redirect that ball back towards the green in the hole. So that's the way you would play that shot on the left side for your second shot. Now, if you're playing on the right side for your second shot, You're most likely going to be looking at a long iron or a short iron. Depends on how far you get the ball down the fairway. And that shot right there, is just going to be a basic shot towards the green, probably landing it somewhere in the front and trying to roll it to the hole. And that's the way you're going to play hole number 1. So I would recommend probably, basically I got to have to wait and see what the wind's going to be like tomorrow. If we have a really strong tailwind, I would say get out one of the big boys and bop it down the fairway to the right side and gives you a really nice shot at the green. But if we have some really funky winds going to the left side, going through the trees with a little bump off the rough onto the fairway, maybe the best bet to give you that second open shot to the green without having to deal with going over trees or around trees. So we'll just have to wait and see what tomorrow's winds hold for us in store. All right, hole number 2, and it's a par 3. There are basically, in my opinion, 2 ways to play this hole. Either way we play it, I think we're going to play it with about a plus 30% adjustment for the wind. And yeah, it's a plus 30% adjustment for the wind is pretty serious. So if we got, let's just say we got 5 mile per hour wind, a plus 30% would equal adjusting as if it was 6.5 miles per hour. Okay, so 5 miles per hour, 10% of 5 miles per hour is 0.5. So 3 times 0.5 would be 1.5. So 5 miles an hour plus 1.5 would be 6.5. So a 5 mile an hour wind with a 30% adjustment would be just like adjusting it as it was 6.5 miles per hour. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. But that's basically the way that you would add to your adjustment when you hear plus 10, plus 20, plus 30, that kind of way. So hole number 2, I like either the Kingmaker ball or Wind 5 ball. You can play with lower level balls. You may find yourself in between clubs though at that point. I really like going with the Sniper on this hole. Some people will like the Guardian as well. I prefer the Sniper. And the ways you can play the Sniper is you can either bounce it off the fairway here, or you can go for the rough bump right here. Those are the 2 ways you can play this hole from the second tee. If you're going to play the shot, farther back off the fairway, you're going to be looking at about 3 to 4 bars of backspin. You're going to line that that end of that ball guide up with the hole, and you just want to find that consistent bouncing spot on the fairway that is flat as possible to be able to replicate that shot for future times when you play it. So kind of pay attention, find yourself an aiming point, maybe look at the rings of your target and see, maybe a certain ring is touching maybe the edge of this, this rough line right there. Whatever ring it may be, maybe that'll be your aim point, reference point for that shot right there. But yeah, I actually like the rough bump here on this hole. I like rough bumps. I think they're a little bit more consistent and controlled than a shot off that back fairway, which is a little bit bumpy. And the green is also bumpy itself. So it's kind of the wrinkle that Playdemic has been throwing at us here recently, is the lumpy and bumpy and hilly greens and fairways. It makes it a little bit more interesting. So the rough bump right here, I would really kind of use your judgment as far as top spin and left spin go. I mean right spin go. You really probably won't need a whole lot, but it may also depend on what kind of wind that you have as well. So just kind of play with that as you practice the shot. And I don't think it'll take a whole lot of top spin to bump it from there. So just kind of mess around with that a little bit, but that is definitely an option to play this hole. I know rough bumps are usually always a favorite option of a lot of people. You can also play the Guardian. If you play the Guardian shot, you'll play that landing spot a lot closer to the edge of the green, and you'll just use a lot of backspin. You just kind of aim the edge of that ball guide right at the hole and adjust for the wind. Plus 30% adjustment for the wind on this hole. All right, we got hole number 3, and hole number 3 is a par 5. Now, the way that we're going to play this hole from the second tee, we're not going to play any kind of elevation changes on this hole for any of our shots. We're just going to play straight up, just whatever you see is what you adjust for. I would definitely say go with a Kingmaker, or even pull out maybe a Zerker here for that extra, that extra boost that you may need. you go with Apocalypse, a Thor, Extra Mile. You definitely want a driver that can put the ball down the fairway with a lot of topspin. Once again, it's going to depend on what kind of wind do we get on this hole. Are we going to get a tailwind that gives us the opportunity to land our ball on this side of the rough, or are we going to have a wind that forces us to land our ball on the back side of the rough? No matter which wind we get for going to the right side, we're going to play it about the same. We're going to use full top spin. You don't have to worry about any kind of spin to the right or to the left because the fairway does slope from right to left. So if you do want to do anything, put a little bit of right spin on it to kind of counteract that slope. But basically, our shot's going to be either going here and jumping over the rough, or we're going to go straight over the rough and land it right there. No matter what way you play it, no matter what way you have to play it, depending on the wind, your end goal is to roll your ball up to this zone right there. And then from there, you have a second shot onto the green to that point right there. Now, depending on our wind for our second shot will also depend on what kind of club you're going to use for that shot. Now, if you want to use a Guardian, you can go a little bit more straight at the hole with all the backspin. But if you're going to use your sniper, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to bounce it off where that little circle is here. But you may have to use the slope at the back of the hole to kind of, use that ball guide and filter that ball back down the hill towards the hole. So just kind of use that right there. Use top spin or the backspin, whatever amount you need, most likely backspin for that shot. But use the back of that green to funnel your ball back down towards the hole. And you have definitely a possible chance at getting the albatross playing it that way. Now, the other option for this hole is going to the left side. You're going to need a driver with a good amount of curl, so most likely the Apocalypse, or if you want to try one of the power hook or power curl shots with the Thor or an Extra Mile, that's also a possibility. Basically what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be looking for a landing spot somewhere in there. And you want to hit there, bounce this way, hopefully roll up into that zone right there. If we get some sort of right to left wind or a right to left headwind, that left shot right there may be the best way to play it. If you don't want to go with some sort of a power shot, you might want to just go with a ball with a lot of side spin. You can do full left spin, full left curl, and definitely get your ball down to the end of that zone. But you could also go with a power shot there, where like just say you got the Thor 5, you aim your shot up, you aim it for this zone right here. You adjust for your wind, and then you adjust your target 15 rings to the right, and then you just do one of those full power curl to the left, and then pull power slices to the left, and you get just this really nice ball trail. And you'll hit, and you'll bounce straight to the end of that fairway. So we'll have to see what kind of wind we get for this hole and see really, what actual possibilities we have to play. I still would prefer the shot to the right if we get the proper wind for that shot. But if you play the shot to the left, your shot towards the green for your second shot may be a little bit better at giving you a chance for the albatross, especially like with the sniper. In that ball guide on the sniper. Yep, if you can get to the end of that fairway, that may be your best chance at the albatross, but not your safest chance at the albatross. So, one of those things, we've got to wait and see what kind of wind we get, and that may determine the way we play this hole. So let's see if we got anything else here to say about this hole. No, don't think so. I think that is about it. So we're going to move on to our next hole, which is a hole number 4. And hole number 4 is a par 3. Now this par 3 here, we're going to play it with a plus 10% adjustment off the tee box. Okay, you're most likely going to be either your Goliath or Sniper, or if you're a Guardian user, you can use your Guardian. You might play it a little bit differently, but either the Goliath or the Sniper or the Guardian. And again, par 3, Kingmaker, or go with a Wind 5 ball, depending on how you want to play it. Now, if you go with a higher power ball, you're probably going to be using your Goliath. If you go with a lower power ball, you're most likely going to be using your Sniper. So if you're going to use the Wind 5 ball, you got to pay very close attention to the amount of power that ball possesses. I think a Turkey ball would be like a power 2 ball. So that would put you more in the lower power category, so that would give you a Sniper. I think the Kingmaker will also allow you to use the Sniper as well. But if you start, increasing that power number, that's when you might move into more of a Goliath shot. But basically, the way that you want to play it is you either want to play it from back here, okay, or you have the option of the rough bump right there. Or if you want to go a little bit closer to the edge of the green with your like a guardian or something, you can play your shot to right there. So these are basically your options to play this hole. Those three ways. If you're going to play it from this back left landing zone right there, I would say going with your sniper, you want to use about 2 to 3 bars of backspin. You want to use your right side spin as needed to kind of aim that ball at the hole. And there is kind of a left to right slope on the green, so you might want to offset your ball guide a little bit to the left side of the hole and kind of let that slope do the work to bring your ball back toward the hole. If you're going to play the rough bump, definitely going with topspin as needed to get to the end of that ball guide to the hole, and that would be a pretty straight on roll to the hole from there. The guardian, definitely using pretty much a lot of backspin to really stop that ball right at the hole. Definitely a really good way to get the ball close to the hole for an easy birdie that way. If you do find yourself using the Goliath from the back left corner of the fairway, the back left position here, that will be about 1 bar of topspin and right spin towards the hole, to guide that shot towards the hole. So that's the way you're going to play hole number 4, and that's a fairly easy hole to figure out. Definitely the hole where I think you'll have some chances of some aces for sure. And the way we play it may change depending on what kind of wind we get. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, hole number 5. Hole number 5 is a par 4. And in my opinion, there's really only one way to play this hole. First off, we're not going to play this shot with any adjustment for the wind, although it kind of looks to me like it's semi-uphill off the drive. But I haven't really been noticing a whole lot of difference when I play this hole, so I'm not going to say do any kind of adjustment here for this for the elevation. Just play no elevation change off the tee box, but there'll definitely be some elevation change for the second shot. So off the tee box, I like going with the Thor or the APOC, the extra mile, whichever one of those you have with the best power, the best accuracy would definitely be my pick for this hole. And I like either the Kingmaker or the Katana ball because you do want a ball with a lot of spin to it. Basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be aiming our ball up the left-hand edge of this fairway. Okay, so our ball is going to come up the left-hand edge. We're going to be combining left curl, left side spin, and full top spin. So basically, you're going to use this left edge. You're going to roll through here and up into this zone right there with your shot. That's the way you're going to play this hole. You got to have a ball with left spin, you left curl, and you want to use top spin. Now, the amount of curl that you're going to use may change depending on the amount of wind we have. If we have a straight left to right wind, you got to use more curl, because you got to fight that wind. If we have a right to left wind, we don't need to use as much curl. If we have more of like a tailwind, use about curl in between those two extremes. So that's the way you should handle the curl for this shot right here. As far as your second shot down to the hole, at this point, we are going to be playing a 30% adjustment for the wind. This is going to be a very difficult shot going so steeply downhill to this green because it's not going to allow you to really zoom in too well on your ball guide. So you're not going to really be able to do those fine-tune adjustments for the wind. So you're really going to have to, eyeball that adjustment from a fairly, far away spot. You'll still be able to see it, but it's pretty far away. It will not allow you to zoom in close to your target and then adjust for your wind. You're going to have to do that kind of just on the fly as good as you can do it. But make sure it's a plus 30% adjustment. I like the thorn shot. You can go with the full backspin thorn shot. But once again, it's going to be tough to adjust for the measurement just because of the inability to zoom in on your shot. You can also play the shot from the front edge of the green. You can play a shot from right here behind the bunker and just bounce it over to the green. But yeah, just mess around with the backspins for those shots right there. And it's definitely possible to get the eagle, but I don't foresee a lot of people getting the eagle on this hole just because of the difficulty of that second shot with such a severe, you know, adjustment for wind. 30% is a very severe adjustment for the wind in this on this hole. Let me see if I got anything else to say about this shot. Nope, looks like that's it. All right, so moving on. Hole number 6. Hole number 6 is a par 5. And this par 5, the screen could get kind of messy. I'm just going to say that right now. Your first shot is going to be a plus 20% adjustment, no matter what, if you go left or if you go to the right side. It's a plus 20%. Your second shot, you're looking at about a plus 10% adjustment if you go to the left or you go to the right. So plus 20 on the first shot, plus 10 on the second shot. Now, as far as clubs go, I would definitely say going with your big dog or your cataclysm would be really good for this one. If you have a really high level sniper, you know, you could definitely possibly use that, but that will depend on how far down the fairway you get and how well you set yourself up for a second shot. And that may depend, you know, on what kind of wind we see tomorrow in the tournament. So, you know, if we get some really gnarly headwinds or side winds, that could really mess up some people on this hole. Best case scenario is we get some sort of like right to left or left to right, you know, fairly straight tailwind to help us make that jump to the left side, because that is what we want to do. I would definitely say go with a Titan, a Kingmaker, or if you got a power 4 ball with some good wind resistance, that may be a possible ball choice. If
iPad.
Okay, get your iPad.
It's down here. Oh, that's
You can find it? I think it's downstairs on the couch. Go get downstairs on the couch and look. So if you got a power 4 ball with good resistance, wind resistance, that may be a good choice. Okay, thank you. If you know, if we get some gnarly winds here. So basically, hopefully, best case scenario, we get a tailwind. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking your drive. You're going to be bouncing it somewhere in this zone right here, and bouncing it over here and rolling it up into this zone right here with some sort of like a side wind. And depending on what kind of driver you have, there may be a chance that you got to do some sort of a double bounce shot right there. You may not be able to go single bounce over that rough. It may take a double bounce to get over that rough, but you got to have a lot of topspin. So you're going to have a driver with accuracy and a lot of topspin for that shot. Your shot to the right side, you know, if we have some sort of like a gnarly left to right headwind or a really severe left to right side wind, you know, you're going to be landing your shot somewhere in here, rolling it up this way. And what you're going to be using for there is a good amount of curl. So you want to make sure you have a driver with a good amount of curl for that shot. Now, for the second shot from the left side, hopefully your drive is far enough where that you can go for the rough bump. I almost said it. Hopefully you can go for the rough bump. In the rough bump, you're going to be landing your shot right in there. If for some reason you don't have a club that can reach, you know, close enough to that edge, you know, you may possibly have to play the skip shot where you skip it from the that fairway over the rough towards the green. If you can go for the rough bump, you got to have at least 3 bars of topspin. I really like the sniper for that shot. So yeah, and the sniper will also work for the skip shot over the rough if you don't have quite enough distance. So that's the way we're going to play that shot there. You know, if we don't have the distance, if we do have the distance, we can keep it going and go for the rough bump right there with at least 3 bars of topspin to make that shot. And that's the play to play it to the left side. Now, if we're playing it to the right side, as we already said, you got to have a driver with curl. You want to have a driver with curl. And you want to have a wood with some power. So if you don't have a fully maxed sniper, you may need to reconsider, you know, maybe your big dog or something like that. But you want to have a club, again, that has some topspin. So that kind of takes the Guardian out of play because the Guardian doesn't have that much topspin. But basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking your shot over these trees. You're going to be looking for a landing zone right in there on the rough and then spinning it out of the rough with your topspin towards the green that way, and that's the way you're going to play that shot. You can take your shot over the trees, and it's a fairly decent sized gap in the trees right there, and gives you plenty of area to land that shot in the rough, and you combine that with topspin, and you can put yourself in pretty good positioning for either maybe an eagle putt or an eagle chip. I don't know, maybe you'll have yourself a chance at the albatross roll. I don't know. I definitely would say the best chance of the albatross will be going to the left, and going for the rough bump right there. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. But yeah, that's definitely, in my opinion, the best chance of getting the albatross on this hole. Let me check my notes, make sure I didn't miss telling you all anything. To keep in mind, once again, that second shot is a plus 10% on the wind adjustment. It is still downhill. And looks like that's it for hole 6. So let me turn the page and we'll move on to hole number 7. Hole 7 is a par 3. Tough par 3, but a fun par 3. We will play this one at a plus 10% adjustment for the wind. Most likely your clubs will be either Goliath or the Sniper, depending on the wind that we see tomorrow. Hopefully we get the wind that gives us a chance of using the Sniper, because I really like the Sniper, and I like it with the Kingmaker ball on this hole. I like to aim my shot somewhere in this zone right there. From there, we will bounce over the bunker, land it somewhere in there, and then hopefully get a nice roll to the pin. Okay, that's the way you want to play that shot. The amount of spin, top spin, back spin, left spin, right spin, that you put on that shot will greatly depend on the wind that we get and where you have to end up landing that ball. The shot right there that I showed you, will not require a lot of spin. Basically, just want to line your shot up and then adjust your spin to bring the ball guide, that nice looking line to the hole. And it's a pretty true roll if you get that ball guide in line with the hole, I think. So if you're going to play it to the left side, just say you don't want to play it to the right side. Let's say you want to play it to the left side. This is definitely a little bit trickier of a shot. You're going to be landing your shot somewhere in this zone, and then you're going to be taking your ball to the hole. If you take it a little bit more leftwardly, it is a sloping green back towards the hole, so the ball will roll back toward the hole. But do keep in mind that these trees are in play. So, if you have to aim into the trees with a really bad wind, or you miss hit to the right side, there's always a chance to hit those trees. And also, landing that shot will require some right spin, possibly some right curl. So in my opinion, it's a little bit more difficult of a shot, and I don't think it gives you as much of a chance of getting the ace as you would have going to the right side. I definitely say this is a sniper hole. I would not recommend the Guardian for this hole. I guess it would be possible to try to land your Guardian, somewhere up in this zone right here, and spin it to the hole to the right. I don't think the Guardian has enough spin, top spin, to get it to the hole. The Guardian is a better club to use when you can use the full amount of backspin, or a good amount of the backspin, to really just stop that ball in a certain location and maybe get that spin back into the hole. So I would definitely say Sniper is probably the best bet for this hole, in my opinion. And I think that's about it to say on this hole. All right. We got hole number 8, par 4. This is a par 4 on hole number 8. The basic ways to play this hole are to try to get your ball either there or there off the tee box. Go that way, go this way, and then your shots to the green will be like that. Your second shots will be a plus 30% adjustment to the green. It's definitely going to be tough shots to make. I really don't believe that anybody's going to be hitting the eagle shot from up there on the ledge going down to the green, much like on one of the previous holes in the tournament. So with it being a par 4, in order to get the eagle, you've really got to put your drive down there on that second level next to the green. So let's talk a little bit about that and what you may do to give yourself the best chance of getting down to that second level. If you're someone that just wants to play it safe, you just want to get to the next round, playing it to the left side or the right side may be your option. And it's still going to give you a chance at the eagle, but I don't think it's going to give you the best chance at the eagle, honestly. I like to play these shots with, drivers that have a lot of top spin. And basically the two ways that you're going to have to get yourself a chance to get down to that lower level are going to be the shots where you either jump it here and through the gap in the trees. You'll hit about in the rough, and then you'll roll on to the fairway right there. That's going to be an option right there. That will greatly depend on what kind of wind we have. If we have some sort of a straight tailwind, that'll be a very easy shot. You're really gonna have to use topspin though on that shot right there for sure. I would say, at least 3, 4, 5 bars of topspin on that shot, no matter what. Maybe even more depending on what kind of wind we have. And that's if we have a tailwind or a semi tailwind. If we have like a side wind, it's going to make that shot even more difficult because, in my opinion, that's one of those shots where you got to hit the perfect ball. If you hit the great left or the great right, you never know what may happen. You may hit the tree. You may land earlier in the rough and not make it all the way to the fairway, in which case, and you'll be chipping out of the rough, which, in my opinion, you still have a better chance to chip out of the rough and get the eagle than chip from up here somewhere and get the eagle. That's the way I see this hole. The one way, though, that I am very curious about playing is more of a power curl shot. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to use an Apocalypse or hopefully maybe a Thor. You probably even use the extra mile if you have the extra mile. But I really like the Thor or the Apocalypse for that shot. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to land it somewhere in this zone, okay? And let's just say I've got the Thor 5. We know it's a 15 ring adjustment for the Thor 5. So I adjust for my wind, and then I adjust my Thor 5 15 rings farther to the right. I go full left curl, full overpower left curl, and then I will do full left slice or hook. I'm not sure what it is, a slice or a hook. I'm not sure. One of those two, but it's the one to the full left side. And then at that point right there, your shot's going to go something like that. It's going to come back, hit, hopefully bounce over in the air, hit the rough, and then roll onto the fairway, possibly even onto the green. I've seen it done. My man Tim Olson has some videos out on his YouTube site. You just type in Tim Olson Golf Clash and you can find him. And you can check out those videos that he has posted on his site of his shot. And he goes onto the green. So definitely a possible shot. I think that's the best way to put yourself in position for the eagle on this hole. And that's just, straight up the honest truth. I think that's the best way to put yourself in position for the eagle on this hole. And I think that eagles on this hole are going to be what puts people either in the top 10 or, if you don't get the eagles, the, bottom 80. You can still probably get top 30 or top 20 without the eagle on this hole. But if you want to win the tournament or really finish well, I think you got to get the eagle on this hole. And I definitely think it's worth the risk. If you don't make the shot, you're still chipping to the green for the birdie. And I think you have, just as good of a chance to birdie doing that as you do playing it safe far up left or far up to the right and then chipping down for your second shot. So that's the way I see this hole. All right, so our next hole is our final hole, hole 9, and we end it with a par 5. And this is a fun hole. Again, it's going to depend on what kind of wind that we get for our first shot is how we're going to play this hole. If you're going to play it to the right side, we're going to play plus 10. Okay. Plus 10 on the adjustment playing to the right side. If we're playing to the left side, we're going to play 0% adjustment, okay? To the left side. Now, the way that we're going to play this hole depends greatly on the wind. I can't say that enough, but it's true. If you're going to play it to the right side, and you got a left to right wind, okay, you're going to play the rough bump, okay? If you got some sort of a headwind, you're going to play the shot off the fairway. If you got some sort of a right to left wind, you're going to bring your shot back off this rough back towards the fairway. So you have options. You're either going to go this way, you're going to go this way, or you're going to go that way, all with the same end goal. Get on the end of that fairway, give yourself a second shot to the green. Now, this is where it gets interesting. On your second shot to the green, first of all, I would say you want to have a kingmaker for this hole. I really like the kingmaker for this hole. As far as your wood goes, I got to say go with the power of wood. So either the big dog or the cataclysm for this shot, at least to the right side. If we get a headwind for our second shot, God, please don't give us a headwind for the second shot. you may possibly have to bounce your ball off this fairway. In that case, you're going to have to use full topspin. So that's where the big dog or the cataclysm will come in handy. If we get a side wind or like a side tailwind or a tailwind, that would be the best thing, because then we can go straight to the next fairway. And with like 3 bars of topspin, we should be able to bounce our ball through the neck right here and toward the green. Give ourselves a really good chance at the albatross or but an easy eagle. So hopefully, we don't get the headwind and have to play the bounce off there. Hopefully we get the tailwind and can go straight to that next fairway with about 3 bars of topspin, 2 to 3 bars of topspin, and go to green. But if we do have to jump on the earlier fairway, we're going to need full topspin. So definitely big dog or cataclysm would be the best case scenario for that shot. Now, if we get a really good tailwind off the tee box, y'all still with me? Yeah, there's a lot going on in this hole. If we get a really good tailwind off the tee box, we could take our shot to this fairway right here. Okay, in which case we should be able to get down pretty far down the fairway into that zone right there. If we can get there, if you can get there, you have to have a really good club to get there. Definitely upper level drivers. If you can get there, then you have a shot to go to the green with your sniper, in which case you could land it here and go to the green, or you could go for the rough bump with your sniper, okay? And go to the green that way. Just judge your topspin, how much topspin you need to get to the cup. The ball guide for the sniper is really good, so as you add that topspin, you're going to see that ball guide expand out, and you just want to take the edge of that to the cup. And definitely a really good chance of the albatross going that way. But like I said, it really depends on the wind that we get off the tee box, because if you're only able to get your driver back into this zone right here, you're really going to be looking at a shot where you're going to have to use curl, and just you don't have a whole lot of area up there to land with a shot like that. You're really going to be forced to hit that perfect shot, I think. But if you can get your ball far enough down that fairway, it really does give you a nice second shot to the green, possible albatross. So hopefully y'all followed me right there. It's very dependent on the kind of winds we get. I think the safe play is to the right side. I think the safe play to the right side gives you a chance at the albatross, but gives you pretty much a sure shot thing at the eagle for sure. Okay. If you play it to the left and you end up short on your driver, you end up in either these bunkers or this stuff over here, then you may be in trouble for that eagle attempt on this hole. Let me check my notes real quick here. Make sure that there's not anything that I miss telling you all. And it looks like I have gone over everything that I wanted to go over. Of course, with this being a brand new course, as the week goes on and we play it more and more, I'm sure more shots will evolve on this course. So it's always very important to know that this is just kind of like a beginner's guideline to what I have seen on this course and these holes. There's definitely, more than likely, definitely going to be some evolving shots that happen on these holes. The best way to find out when these shots evolve is to be involved in a Golf Clash community of some sorts, whether it be the 19th hole, which is the community that I run, Golf Clash United, Learn or Burn, one of those communities. They all offer you great information, and it's definitely a good place to be hooked up to when you have a tournament with new holes, because that's the place to find that shot where you say, oh, I did not think of that before. But it's definitely the place to go where you want to, carve some shots off your game, put yourself in a better position for one of those top 3 medals. Do keep in mind this is the Fall Major, so you do earn up to 50% extra clan points for your clan, and starting of Season 3, that could be a big deal. That could be what makes or breaks your clan for Season 3, no doubt about it. So thank you all for sticking with me here. Sorry it took so long for me to get this out. It's been a busy end of the week and a busy weekend, but we have finally got it out. Good luck tomorrow, starting the Fall Major Classic on the Eagle Point course. My name is Jesse Both. If you are on Facebook and you have not joined any Golf Clash communities, I would strongly encourage you to check out my Golf Clash community. Just go in the search bar and type in Golf Clash, the 19th hole, answer a few questions, and we'll get you we'll get you on in the community and get you learning. So also definitely hit that thumbs up for me if you enjoyed this video. Also hit that subscribe button, getting close to 2,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And appreciate it. Y'all have a good end of your weekend, and hope you all do well on the course tomorrow.